Lady Charmaine, and my guest today is a true diva at heart. She has a foundation that brings awareness to HIV and AIDS, and her list of accomplishments go on and on. And she's back today to talk about our TVONE Life After episode. I want you to help me welcome the diva herself, Miss Sheryl Ralph. How you doing, Miss Ralph?
Girl, I am very good and happy to be on the phone talking with you this morning.
You know, it's always a pleasure to have you on this show because I just love your spirit and you are such a mentor to so many women. And we're going to talk about that because you were on R&B Divas Atlanta. You even did a wonderful intervention for them at the reunion. So we're going to talk about that. But I want to just say the last time you were on the show, you were getting ready to, well, the show was getting ready to air Smash when you played the mom of Jennifer Hudson on Smash. And so you're still doing great things even after that.
Girl, let me tell you something. I went from being Jennifer Hudson's mom on Smash to, I've got a new series that's getting ready to premiere on September 29th called Instant Mom, where I play the mother to Tia Mowry. But for those who are watching Showtime now, they know that I'm playing the mom to Pooch Hall on this outstanding new Showtime series, Ray Donovan. And I tell everybody, wow, I am the mother of the game.
You need a mama called Sheryl Ralph.
Okay. And all of my kids are outstanding. Well, I started to add up all of my children the other day, and I said, besides my own kids, look, there was Lauren Hall in Sister Act 2. There's Brandy in Moesha. There is Tia Mowry now, Pooch Hall, Jennifer Hudson. All I have is star children.
You sure do.
All I have is star children.
All your kids are famous. You're doing a good job, Mama.
Oh, my kids are famous.
Oh, that's
good. Famous, baby. All the way famous.
See, we got to see what you're doing. I need to take a couple classes from you. Do some parenting classes at Kaiser. We all need it.
How about that? That's right. Take that family class at Kaiser.
Well, you have a TVONE Life After episode is going to be airing on Wednesday, September the 11th. And I want to know, what are they going to talk about life after? Because you don't have a life after. You still doing it today.
Girl, and everybody has been saying the same thing, and I have to thank all of you for that. In fact, when they asked me to do the life after, I said, well, I've really continued acting, and they made a comment. They said, but there's so much more to you that people do not know. And I think that that's the important part of your life after. And I said, well, if you put it that way, let's do this. So it's been wonderful. I was able to talk about quite a few things that include, why I believe that health is the new wealth, why people hear me consistently trying to let people know that they must take care of themselves. Everything from HIV/AIDS to prostate cancer. I recently lost my dad to prostate cancer, and before he died, he said, please continue to tell people that their health is truly their wealth, because people don't think about it until it's gone. A lot of folks knew, so much about my dad, throughout my life, because, he and I were very, very close, but they didn't hear that much about my mother except anecdotally. So she is, part of, this piece that we do. We talk more about why I got involved in the fight against AIDS, as an original company member of Dreamgirls on Broadway, what I saw. You get to meet the incredible man that I'm married to, Senator Vincent Hughes from Pennsylvania, and you get to see some of my great friends. So it turned out to be a wonderful documentary piece. I was like, oh my goodness.
I love Life After. I love Life After. I love Unsung. Well, I just love the network TV1 period. So they know that. So it's always a pleasure to work with them because they have such great shows and you learn so much.
They've done an incredible job of carving out a special niche for TVONE, where you bring to light the works of people of color that thank God, are being seen.
And I say the same thing. I mean, I absolutely love it because, like I said, just from the beginning of Life After, the beginnings of Unsung, where you always say, I wonder whatever happened to, and then it's amazing. They bring them to life and this is what happened to them. Or you some things you just never knew. And it's like, well, I never knew that. So it's, for me, it's very educational as well. It's informative. It's educational. So I really do appreciate it. So I can't wait to see your story and meet your husband on TV and all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah. I really enjoyed doing it. It was a lot of time, a great commitment, to, it's one of those pieces you can't hide. If you're going to do it, you've got to commit to doing it. And because when you're honest to the piece, committed to the piece, it just adds so much more to how people enjoy it. And like you said, get informed.
Yes. And speaking of you and TVONE, you were also on R&B Divas Atlanta. The Divas participated in your fundraiser, Diva Simply Singing, which you do every year, which is a great fundraiser for HIV and AIDS awareness. How did you get the Divas to even appear on the show? Because they did a fantastic job, just from what we saw on television.
First of all, they were so wonderful, which is how I came to the reunion. But how I got them to do Divas was quite literally, Faith Evans is such an outstanding woman, and our daughters are friends. And I said to myself, you know what, let me call Faith up and see if she might not be willing, if she'd be willing to ask some of her fellow divas to do Diva Simply Singing. And I tell you, before I asked her, she said, Sheryl, that's a great idea. And before the end of the week, it seemed as though 2 or 3 of them came on, and then before I knew it, all of them were involved. So it was great. It was really, really wonderful. And they all added so much, but more than that, they brought such needed new attention to this disease and the infection rate, because I'm so disturbed that after 23 years of Diva Simply Singing, and we are now the longest consecutive running musical AIDS benefit in the country, after all of these years, we seem to have come full circle with the disease, where now we are back to young men becoming infected at numbers that are unacceptable. But what we now know this time around is it is so many young men of color. And I just find that to be awful, awful, awful.
Well,
when all of the divas from R&B Divas were talking about the people that they had lost, some of them were young men from this generation. And it just upset me. And just last week, we lost a fighter, and he was, 40-something years old? And his family is still in denial. They don't want to say that it was, from AIDS complications.
Wow.
So it's still going on, and it just saddens me. I heard Reverend Bishop T.G. Jakes say the other day, you cannot fix what you are not willing to talk about.
That's right. He sure did say that. He sure did. He sure did say that. And that is so true. And I thought it was so great for Diva Simply Singing to have a Divas cast on the show. I said, you couldn't have worked that more perfectly. It just works so well together. And everything you said is so true, because I think I mentioned to you before, my older brother, he had full-blown AIDS, but, he ended up dying in a car accident, but he was one of the longest African-American men living because he was diagnosed at 16. So he was very young.
Wow.
He was very young when he was diagnosed. So everything you're saying is so true. And I want to talk to you about the finale, because they brought you back for the finale for Healing Among Women. Talk to us about that. And how did that make you feel to be able to be there as a mediator and a mentor for those ladies?
Well, let's be clear. When they asked me to do it, it was not as a mediator. I was coming on to thank them for bringing their best selves to Diva Simply Singing, for bringing the attention and awareness to the disease, for helping me, for giving me the kind of help they gave to me to help me help our community. And I was there to push my book, Redefining Diva. And when I got there, all of a sudden, I had been there I snuck in, and I was there for about 30 minutes. And all of a sudden, I was like, what the heck is going on? Because I could hear things, rumblings going on stage. And then all of a sudden, the producers, the camera came upstairs, and they said, can we ask you to do something on camera? And I said, as long as it's not taking off my clothes, And they came in and they asked me, would I sit in on the next segments to talk to the ladies because of what was taking place as we saw what happened. And that's how I got involved in that manner. That's how it happened. So it was literally off the cuff.
Wow. So you weren't there for that. You were there for something else, and then it turned into something else.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And the thing about it is, for me, is I had to look at them, and I was like, you all cannot forget how wonderful you are. You cannot forget the incredible talents that you are. You cannot let the world not see what outstanding women you are. I don't care what strings may be pulled anywhere else. You've got to hold on to the fact that you are divinely inspired, victoriously awesome diva women. Don't let that get lost.
Wow. I want to know, this year, when is your next Diva Simply Singing? What's the date?
Diva Simply Singing this year, we're going back to our usual time of the year, which is Columbus Day weekend, Saturday, October 12th at Club Nokia in downtown L.A. And we are asking everyone, buy your tickets now. Arrange your vacation time. Come on out to another series of Divas Simply Singing. We've got divas. We've got a diva from R&B Diva Live. We've got a diva from R&B Divas Atlanta. So that would be Kelly Price. We've got Faith Evans. We've got Amber Riley from Glee. We've got Karen, I'm Not Your Superwoman White. We've got a throwback from the disco days, Martha Wash. We've got a comedian, Unella. We've got some of the most kindest, talented women with great heart. And we're going to be honoring two women who have been on the forefront of the HIV/AIDS fight artistically and in the trenches. So, but I don't want to mention their names just yet till I get the yeses from them. And it's just amazing. And I've been very fortunate to have companies like Bristol Myers Squibb, Merck, Johnson & Johnson, Wells Fargo, all of them to get behind and continue to support Diva Simply Singing. It's not easy. It's never easy every year, but thank God, at least after some work, I do get their support, and I got to thank Kaiser. Kaiser has just been great.
Who would have known I'd end up mentioning Kaiser? So you may have to do that class.
We were talking about Kaiser before.
See? Well, I have Kaiser, so I like them.
There you go.
So I must say, if people want to find out information about your Diva Simply Singing and they want to support it and buy their tickets, where can they go?
Please visit thedivafoundation.org. That's THE, thedivafoundation.org. You got to put in the, or you end up with some divas in Toronto. So go to thedivafoundation.org and simply, if you need to, just Google Divas Simply Singing.
Perfect, because words really do matter when it comes to looking up something on the World Wide Web. So put the in there.
Absolutely.
So I want to remind everyone to be sure and watch Life After with Sheryl Ralph, airing on Wednesday, September the 11th, 8/7 Central, only on TVONE. Miss Ralph, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. You know you got to come back, and I'm sure you will be back.
I will be back, and make sure you tell your listeners to hit me up on Twitter at once again, THE, Sheryl with an S, Ralph.
I know, the Sheryl Ralph, so not to get that mistaken with any other Sheryl Ralph, okay? Thank you so much.
You get that right, girl.
Well, I look forward to having you back, Miss Ralph.
Take care now.
You too.